Well, Fox 5 Health News, being angry even just for a few minutes could increase your risk of heart attack. A new study finds a burst of this emotion has a negative impact on blood vessels.
Joining us now is Fox 5 medical contributor Dr. Devi Nampiaparampil from NYU School of Medicine. Doctor, thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, it's good to see you.
Likewise. So we all know that anger can increase your blood pressure. So what did this study find?
Well, this study, what surprised me is that it was 280 healthy people. So these were people who didn't have high blood pressure, they didn't have diabetes, they didn't have high cholesterol, they didn't have the usual risk factors for having a heart attack or a stroke. But if they were angry for 8 minutes, the researchers had them kind of think of a scenario where they were really angry. It caused changes in their blood pressure, the ability of their blood vessels to relax, actually, for 40 minutes after that period of anger. Well, what that translates to is that if you have these changes in your blood vessels over time, so let's say you're in the habit of getting angry or you have a short fuse, then that could actually be a precursor to something called atherosclerosis, which is a known risk factor for heart attack or stroke. So a good reason not to try to calm down and not be as angry about things. The other thing that's surprising is sadness and anxiety didn't seem to cause the same changes.
Wow, that is interesting. Certainly, yeah, you have to meditate or sort of get through it for your own sake, right? Yeah. Wow. Well, a landmark health study that scared millions of women away from hormone therapy for menopause may have actually gotten it wrong. Now, 20 years later, researchers say those fears were overblown. Now, this is the biggest study in women's health, the Women's Health Initiative. What's changed in the 2 decades since?
Well, they followed these women to see what had happened over time, but we need to look at it in terms of history. So over 20 years ago, people used to take a hormone replacement for menopause because they thought it would protect them from heart attack and stroke. Then this study, which had over 150,000 women, basically looked and said, you know, actually they're at much higher risk of having heart attack and stroke, so we should just stop that therapy altogether. So many women have been suffering from postmenopausal symptoms because they thought they couldn't have hormone replacement therapy, which probably would help with those symptoms. But now this study is looking at it again and realized that there might be a division at the age of 60. So if you're over 60 and you have fewer postmenopausal symptoms, usually they get better over time, but you have more risk factors for heart attack and stroke, then you should probably stay off of hormone replacement therapy. But if you're under 60 and you're having more of these symptoms like hot flashes and stuff, but your risk factors for heart attack and stroke are relatively low, then maybe you would benefit from hormone replacement therapy. So it's really like a risk benefit, but there's a division at that age of 60.
Yeah, certainly eye-opening.
Yeah,
wow.
For sure. An interesting distinction there. All right. Thanks, Dr. Devi. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, some of the tri-states